In 2015, when S.S. Rajamouli released the first part of his magnum opus, Baahubali: The Beginning,
Jai Mahishmati!
no one expected it to become such an unprecedented success. In fact, on release day, the movie wasn't universally appreciated, especially among the local Telugu audience.
First day it was a very bad talk. They didn't receive it because
They were trying to protect
expecting
you.
too much. No, they were expecting too much. Rajamouli and me, they have a different story. And suddenly, Katappa comes and kills the hero. And they didn't like it. It was shock and it was abrupt cut. So they never saw a film like that.
It was hard for the audience to accept the hero of the film dying at the end. It went against the very DNA of commercial cinema. But as time moved on, the movie caught up, the word of mouth spread like wildfire, and in no time the movie became a massive success, giving birth to what we call today the pan-India movie. Prabhas became an instant success, gaining national fame overnight. Then in 2017, part 2 arrived, and this time the spotlight widened. The entire country saw Amrendra Baahubali, and they didn't just see an actor, they saw a king. They saw a figure of such masculine grandeur and emotional vulnerability that he ceased to be a mere movie star. He became an icon. But fast forward to today, January 2026. Nearly 9 years have passed since that peak, and as we look at the mixed reception of his latest release, the Raja Saab, and the erratic trajectory of his career over the last decade, we have to ask a difficult question. Why has the biggest star in the country failed to escape the shadow of Mahishmati?
Abhi dekh lijiye.
Now, before I get into the first discussion point, I want to mention that I'm a Prabhas fan myself. If you follow this channel, you know I have made multiple videos defending his choices and rooting for his success. But right now, blind support is no longer helping him, especially after Raja Saab. He needs a criticism overdose. His fans need to tell him the truth. So this video isn't coming from a hater or a troller, it's coming from a fan who is tired of seeing a Ferrari being driven like a Toyota.
You're goddamn right.
Now that we have established that, let's look at the root of the problem. The legacy he's trying to outrun, the impossible standard. To understand why Prabhas is struggling, we first have to acknowledge the impossible standard he's being held to. When Baahubali concluded, it left him in a very dangerous position. He was perfect. The character of Amrendra Baahubali was a lightning in a bottle moment. It required a very specific set of skills: physical dominance, regal body language, and eyes that could convey kindness and rage in equal measure. Prabhas delivered a 10 on 10 performance. The audience didn't just fall in love with Prabhas, they fell in love with what Rajamouli's vision of Prabhas was. They fell in love with the way the camera worshipped him. When the credits rolled, the audience didn't want to see him play normal humans anymore. They wanted gods, they wanted kings. And that expectation has been the anchor dragging him down for the last 9 years. Every script he touches is weighed against the 2017 gold standard. And when you start a race from the finish line, the only way to go is backward. The industry saw this god status and decided to monetize it. And this led to the first phase of his post-Baahubali turbulence. After giving 5 years of his life to one franchise, Prabhas had a choice to make. He could have gone back to basics, done a simple action film or a grounded drama. Instead, he and his producers decided that every film had to be an event. First came Saaho in 2019. The hype was unreal. It was marketed as India's biggest action thriller. But when we watched it, we saw a film that prioritized style over substance. It felt like a video game where the player forgot the controls. The screenplay was a mess, a confusing complexity for intelligence. While it made money at the box office, proving his stardom was real, it exposed a crack in the armor. Critics noted that Prabhas looked different. He looked heavier, tired, and less expressive. The spark was missing. Then came Radhe Shyam in 2022. On paper, this was a good idea, a return to romance, the genre he excelled in during his Darling and Mr. Perfect days. It was supposed to showcase vintage Prabhas. But instead of a grounded, charming love story, we got a confused film about palmistry and destiny that tried to be an epic when it should have been intimate. The movie cost 300 plus crores. Why? Why does a love story need to cost 300 crores? Because pan-India. The audience rejected it because they couldn't connect with him. The charm felt forced, the chemistry was cold, and once again the feedback was harsh. Why does he look so disinterested? But if Saaho and Radhe Shyam were stumbles, what happened next was a crash. A moment that almost broke the bond between the star and his fans. The year of Adipurush. Adipurush wasn't just a bad movie, it was a breach of trust. When you agree to play Lord Ram, you are taking on a responsibility that goes beyond box office numbers. You are carrying the faith of a culture. When the teaser dropped, the world laughed. The VFX was poor, yes, but the bigger issue was Prabhas himself. For the first time, the audience turned on him. They accused him of sleepwalking through the role. Where was the divine grace? Where was the fire? He looked like a digital avatar of himself. That period was the most turbulent time in his career. The criticism wasn't just about the technicalities, it was personal. People began questioning his lifestyle, health and dedication. The invincible cutout had been punctured. It felt like the industry was exploiting his name to sell garbage and he was letting them. However, Prabhas is not a star who fades away easily. He bounced back, but even his recovery has come with a massive asterisk. A tussle between commercial recovery and artistic stagnation. Post Adipurush, we entered the era of big numbers, mixed feelings. Salar arrived in late 2023 and it was a monster hit. Finally, a director like Prashant Neel knew how to present Prabhas.
खान सार अब लाल होगा.
He made him a terrifying force of nature. But if you look closely, Prabhas barely speaks in Salar. He is hidden in the shadows. The editing uses quick cuts to mask his movement. It was a brilliant utilization of his aura, but it didn't require much of his talent. It was a director protecting his star, not challenging him. Then came Kalki 289880 in 2024. Prabhas played Bhairava, a lighter, goofier character.
Bhairava, 5-star bounty. Let's go.
Hi.
Hi.
Another massive blockbuster, 1,000+ crores. But who walked away with the unanimous praise? Amitabh Bachchan. While it was nice to see him try comedy again, many fans felt he was playing a side character in his own franchise. The dramatic heavy lifting was done by others. So while his bankability is back, the actor Prabhas is still missing. And this leads to the biggest tragedy of his post-Baahubali career, the loss of his greatest asset, his connection to the ground, the green screen prison. Do you remember Chatrapathi? Do you remember Mirchi? Those films worked because Prabhas was raw, he was rustic, he was standing in dust, in mud, fighting real people. Since 2017, Prabhas has been living in a green screen prison. Look at the industry trends. Pushpa worked because it was dirty and grounded. Kantara worked because it was rooted in local culture. RRR worked because the emotions were raw. Meanwhile, Prabhas is stuck in synthetic worlds. Saaho's fake city, Radhe Shyam's green screen Europe, Adipurush's darker than night jungle, and Kalki's dystopian desert. He has lost the nativity. By trying to make movies for everyone, he is making movies that belong to no one. He has traded his raw mass appeal for a glossy digital aesthetic that feels cold. The audience misses the Prabhas who could roll up his sleeves and fight in the mud, not the Prabhas who shoots laser beams in a studio. In addition, there has been an alarming reliance of technology to fix performance. We see obvious instances of body doubles used not just for dangerous stunts but also for simple walking shots or over-the-shoulder angles. We see VFX being used to de-age him, slim him down or touch up his face, creating this weird, plastic, uncanny valley effect. In Baahubali, we saw his veins, his sweat, his real physical transformation. He built that body with years of discipline. Now, it feels like the industry is hitting render instead of hitting the gym, and the audience can tell the difference. By relying on body doubles and digital touch-ups, the pan-India machine has stripped away the very thing that made him a star, his physical charisma. He has traded his sweat for pixels, and the result is a disconnect that no amount of budget can fix. And that brings us to the present day, January 2026, the release of the Raja Saab. The Raja Saab was supposed to be the fun one, a horror comedy to break the tension of serious action films. But looking at how the movie has panned out, it feels like history is repeating itself. We are seeing a pattern. Directors are lazy. They think, I have Prabhas, I don't need a tight script. And Prabhas seems to be accepting this. He is signing projects based on scale and directors, but not on character. He is trapped in a loop of high-budget mediocrity. He can't be just a guy next door. He has to save the world or fight demons or rule a galaxy. It is exhausting for him to carry these 500 crore mountains, and it is exhausting for us to watch him struggle under the weight. So what lies ahead? Is there a light at the end of this tunnel or just more expensive trains? The lineup looks terrifyingly big. We have Spirit with Sandeep Reddy Vanga scheduled for 2027. This is the one I have high hopes for. Vanga challenges his actors. He made Ranbir Kapoor uncomfortable in Animal. He made Shahid Kapoor raw in Kabir Singh. If anyone can strip away the pan-India plastic and show us the raw, ugly, real Prabhas, it is Sandeep Reddy Vanga.
Right from my childhood, I just have one bad habit.
Then we have Fauji with Hanu Raghav Puri, a war love story. Again, a chance for performance. But the fear remains. Will these films be projects? Will they be designed for the Hindi market, the Telugu market and the overseas market, forgetting the human element in the middle? Prabhas needs to stop being a pan-India star and start being an actor again. He needs to lose the fear of a small film. We the fans will watch him even if he does a courtroom drama. We will watch him if he sits in a chair and talks for 2 hours. We want to see him, the real him, not the VFX version. So has Prabhas recovered since Baahubali? Financially? Yes. He's bigger than ever. Artistically? No. He's still chasing the ghost of Amarendra Baahubali. The tragedy of the last 9 years isn't that he failed, it's that he succeeded in the wrong way. He became a brand but he lost the connection. As we move further into 2026, I hope the Raja Saab is the last of these confused films. I hope Spirit breaks him in a good way, because the king doesn't need a bigger kingdom. He needs to remind us why he deserved the crown in the first place. Now I want to turn this over to you. Do you think Prabhas is still stuck in Mahishmati? And what are your thoughts on his last film, The Raja Saab? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive and are interested in watching more, check out our latest video about Dhurandhar right here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.